and welcome back to our channel, or if you're new here, I'm Becca and I share this channel with my best friend Sophie. So Sophie is training to be a lawyer and I'm training to be an accountant, and I currently work at one of the big four in audit. So if you're interested in accounting or law or both, make sure you subscribe to our channel and also like this video. And finally, comment as well if you've got any questions for us, if you've got any input and any advice to give as well. Make sure you comment down below and I really hope you enjoy. So I don't think I've mentioned already, but today's video is all about advice and what I wish I'd known kind of thing when I started at the Big Four. So I started almost exactly 1 year ago in my graduate role in audit, like I mentioned, but I feel like I've learned so much and have lots of advice to give. If I was going back a year, this is the kind of thing I'd have wanted to know. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. As always, in the description, I'll put all the timestamps so you can skip different parts of this video if there's a specific area that you are interested in. But firstly, I wanted to talk about learning. So I feel like it's quite cliche, but the first thing I wanted to mention was that the learning curve is absolutely massive, especially in the first 6 months. I feel like there's a massive gap between when you start and like me right now, because you just learn so much, both about like accounting generally, about like financial statements, about the industry of the client that you're working in. Obviously you're doing like accounting exams and stuff like that too, so you're learning a lot in that sense. You're learning a lot in terms of like how to write a business email, in terms of like business relationships and business talk. Like the learning curve is absolutely massive, and I think that's a really important thing to know. So when you start, don't feel like that imposter syndrome of, you know, I shouldn't be here because I don't know any of the stuff, because I really do think that you will learn quickly and you'll pick it up quickly naturally as well. Especially, like I said, by like going to college, you do learn a lot in those sessions that you can then apply to your work. I mean, that's the whole point of it. So don't worry if you are unsure at the beginning, because there is a lot to learn and you will learn it. I feel like that's also quite prominent if you don't have an accounting background. Quite a few of the Big Four in a variety of their roles don't require you to have an accounting or a finance degree. They'll take anyone. So if you've got like a history degree or a maths degree, econ degree, they seem to be the main ones that I know. Although one of my friends does do geography, or did do geography at uni, and then started at my firm as well. So don't worry if you don't have the background, because they've all learnt so much and they're doing the exams at the same time that like I am. So I did accounting and finance at uni, and that we're all pretty much at the same level now, I'd say. Obviously, like some people do better than others, and some people who didn't do accounting and finance know way more than me. So like, don't feel like you have to compare yourself at all, but everyone definitely knows a lot more and has learned so much during the time. So next, I wanted to talk a bit about expectations. So I feel like this was one of the things that I struggled with at the beginning. I just felt like they wanted me to know everything immediately, when obviously I didn't really know that much, especially about like the role or about what they wanted me to do. And there was a lot of pressure, especially starting in like a remote working environment. It's hard for them to see that you're struggling. They'll just think you're getting on with it if you don't say anything. So the main thing I'd say for this is what my senior manager said to me in one of our like first review meetings, was that they really don't expect anything of you as like a new joiner starting out in accounting. They don't expect you to have accounting background. If you've sat in the exams, then they expect some accounting knowledge, because you usually start working after you've sat some of your accounting exams, but for us, we didn't. So honestly, they had minimal expectations of us, but what they do expect is you to have like the willingness to learn, to be inquisitive, to have that like positive mindset, and to be enthusiastic about all the work that you're doing. And I think that's like really key to drill home, that it doesn't really matter if you don't have all the accounting knowledge before you start, because they really don't expect you to. However, also on that point, it is really important to have strong communication with your managers and with your team. So always ask for help. Like as soon as you don't understand something, always ask, because it's so frustrating. And I mean, I've done it before as well, where you go through something, doing what you think is right, and it's absolutely not right, and you've just wasted like everyone's time when you could have been just doing it right from the beginning. So definitely, you know, have that initial meeting where you ask all your questions, and then I think it's really important to communicate with your manager to see, you know, at the end of every day, do you want to have a check-in meeting so we can talk about all my questions? Or as and when I have questions, should I Skype you? Like whatever it is, whatever communication method you use, I think it's really important to like ask those at the beginning and set your expectations with your managers at the beginning as well. Also, it's good to ask some of the lower levels. So for example, like the new joiners will be asking me and the assistant managers all of the like silly questions that you maybe wouldn't feel as comfortable or as confident in asking like managers or senior managers. So I think it's good to have like lots of different people to ask different kinds of questions to. And then final point on asking for help and asking questions is always come with a solution if you can. So for example, you could say, you know, this is my understanding, or this is what I think should be done. Is that aligned with what you think as well? And I think that always shows that, you know, you're trying, that you're not just like waiting for them to tell you and feed you the answers to everything, that you're like trying to gain your understanding. And again, I think that really helps with the learning curve as well. Next, I wanted to talk a bit about workload and mental health. So I know that for me personally, especially during busy season, like the workload is absolutely massive, and more so as you go up the ranks rather than when you start, to be honest with you. But you get piled on so much work and it's a lot more intense than university. And even with the exams that you sit, you know, like I was revising every single night for like a month, whereas at university I definitely didn't have that. So I think it's important to make sure that you're getting that balance within yourself and that you notice the signs early if you are struggling and ask for help, because the whole point of being like in such like a big team like the Big Four is that there's always someone that's available to help if you are struggling. So make sure you do reach out. If your workload is too much or you're struggling with something, make sure you say, you know, like you communicate that to your manager and say, I feel like I've got too much at the moment. Or if they say, can you do this, can you do this, can you do, like, just say no to some of the things. That's okay, as long as, you know, you are doing some work and you are trying your best, then that's what matters really. You know, it would be better for them to have you in, you know, a good state of mental health the whole time and to be able to feel like you're managing your work and you're learning, rather than you constantly feel like you're struggling and for you to burn out after a month, because that's not good for anyone. Also at the Big Four, I know especially in my firm, they've got a lot of wellbeing protocols and procedures in place and different routes that you can contact people. It usually starts off with like your immediate team or your manager or your coach or your pal, or whatever you want to call it, and then it also goes on to like a more secure, like private, confidential line as well. So yeah, make sure you have a look at all the different methods of reaching out to people and who you can talk to. So today's was quite a short video. I just wanted to give like a quick recap of what was covered. So I firstly spoke about the learning curve and like your expectations and how to communicate those with your manager. Also on that point, I don't think I mentioned, but it's really good to chat to your manager, just like a quick 30-second conversation. You know, how would you like me to reach out to you? How often would you like me to reach out to you? You know, when I have problems, who should I go to? Should I go directly to you, or should I go to like other members of the team first? And I mean, sometimes you can think about that in your own mind and make it up, but it's good to know what their preferences are, because you'll likely be working on lots of different teams, and it's good to know, you know, what their specific preferences are when you're working with them. I also spoke about communicating issues and looking after yourself when you are working, and just getting you prepared for the vast amount of revision that you'll probably be doing. I mean, I did the ACA, and I know other people in the UK do ICAS, and there's also like CPA and things like that elsewhere in the world. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of exams you've got to prepare for. So just, you know, be wary of that. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe and like this video if you haven't already, and we'll see you in our next one. Bye!